everyone, it's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic. Happy Tuesday night. And welcome to this week's Tuesday Night Lights. Hope you are having a fabulous day. And I hope you had a fabulous weekend as well. Oh, excuse me. All right, so excuse me for being a bit puffy. It's just this time of year, really. Tonight we are going to make 2 cards, and I'm going to be as quick as I can. And we're going to talk about sketches from the new catalogue, and we're going to use a sketch that's in the new catalogue as well. So you might remember last week I said the new catalogue's got these basic card designs, and you'll find them on page 22 of the new catalogue. And we're going to use one of the basic sketches. So we're going to use, let me see if I can. We're going to use this one here. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one from the left, and no, 6th one from the left, and that's the one right in the middle. Hi Jan, hi Glenda, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Jan, I haven't forgot that I've got to come and finish that project. How are you going, Glenda? I hope you're well. Yeah, so tonight I am determined to do quick cards tonight. Easy design, really quick. But I haven't put my stamps together yet, so I'm going to quickly do that. So we're using the Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. Now this is in the new catalogue. Some of the demos got this on pre-order. Oh, that's great to hear, Glenda, that you're good. And oh, that's excellent, Jan, that it's partially done. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning thinking about that, Jan. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've just got my block and I've just taken the sticker out of my packet and taken it off the backing paper. I grabbed my little take my picture, and I was going to have this done, and I decided not to do it because people always ask me how to put together stamps, and this is the easiest way to do it. Alright, so I've got my stamp set. Oh, okay, yeah, great, Jan. Okay, so I've got, move this out of the way. We're going to use this leafy one. So I've taken the backing off my stamp, and I've put my sticker on the block, and I'm just putting it straight down. Now throw away this rubbery bit because I can see at a glance how many stamps I have in my packet without having to count them all. So we're using 3 stamps from this set. The next stamp we're going to use is this. It looks like a Scottish thistle or something like that. I picked this stamp because it reminds me of my mother-in-law, Steve's mum, who passed away a few years ago, and I just have been thinking about her a lot due to Mother's Day. So I've actually been very fortunate to have two beautiful mother-in-laws. And yeah, unfortunately both of them have passed away. So yeah, I wanted to do something that I thought Mary would like, and she is Scottish, so, or she was Scottish. So this is a little card for her, even though she's not round. Okay, and I'm going to use the sentiment, thinking of you fondly. That seems appropriate, doesn't it? Jen, I'm hoping to get to Spotlight on Thursday if you don't make it. Okay, so just let me know. Alright, so we're just taking off, putting the sticker onto our block. Now, if you do this when you first get the first time you use your stamp, it does make it easier. And I know lots of people don't put their stamps together, but I do think when you've got a lot of stamps around, and it's easier to see what the stamp says when you can just look at the back. Okay, and look at the sticker. That's just my personal preference. So I'm going to do the rest of them later. We're going to start with we're going to go back and have a look at this sketch again. So this is the sketch that we're using. Alright. This one down here. Okay. Now it's got 3 pieces, it's got a base card, it's got 3 pieces, and it's got a rectangle over the top. Pretty simple in terms of stamping. Alright, so I'm going to tell you a couple of tricks to doing this. I've got my envelope, so I brought that up so that I could stamp that at the same time. Now I haven't cut my 3 pieces yet, and there's a reason I haven't cut them yet, because I want to, on the back of it, I want to write 1, 2, 3, okay? And we want to write bottom down here. All right, so this is the reverse side. The reason I'm doing that is when I grab my trimmer and I cut 3 1-inch strips, this pattern is really, really hard to line up. Hey Megan, how are you? I'm so glad that you could join us. All right, I hope you've been resting up. So we're going to start, so I'm going to start, this is a 3-inch wide piece. It's 3 inches by 5, okay? So I'm going to make my first cut at 2 inches. Right. Then my next cut at 1 inch. So I've got my 3 1-inch pieces. Now, if you were in a hurry, which this happens to me often, hi Glenda, and I just grab them like this and I mix them all up. So I need to know what order they go in, because if I just tried to put them together, see, it's not an easy pattern to put together. You think it might be easy. Megan, you need to rest more. But because I've written, on the top of I've written 2 here, I've written 3 there, so I've numbered them left to right, and I've written 1 here, I can easily line up my pattern. At the bottom, yeah. So And because it's a bit tricky really when you're lining it up. Alright, so what we're going to do before we lose any of those bits is we're going to start with, we're going to use our grid paper as a guide. I'll just leave those two bits out of the way. So this is one of the easiest cards you're going to make. Alright. I'm going to put my centre one on first. So this is number 2. Alright. So we're going to centre it top to bottom and left to right. And you're just sticking it on with glue. If you picked up the right glue. Now, if you were stepping it up, you could layer these pieces on some cardstock, but we're not stepping it up. We're just doing the very basics today for this card. So we're going to centre it left to right and top to bottom. So we've got our grid paper sort of about centre. Maybe a little bit off, but it's pretty close. Then I'm going to grab my left one. And I'm going to leave probably about 1/4 of an inch, maybe even a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on what. I've cut this, so this is a standard size card base, so I've cut it so that when I put it together, you're going to have almost the same border all the way around. I'm going to do number 3. Now my hands aren't working really well today because I've been doing lots of cutting and getting ready for retreat. It's a week and 2 days to go. So this time next week we won't have a Facebook Live because, well, Miss Shani will be here from Adelaide and we will be doing the finishing touches for our soiree by the sea. Okay. So that's the beginnings of it. I'm using my Stamparatus today. Because I'm using a rubber stamp, I don't need this extra deluxe platform. I should really have some paper in here, some grid paper of some description. Now I'm going to line this up using my grid. Line it up here. Now one of the things that I discovered recently were vellum post-it notes, and I should have brought one up here. I want this to go off the side. I'm not worried that it's going to get ink on the platform. I can wipe that off easily. And vellum post-it notes are really good when you want to position something. Now, we're using one of the new colours with our Thoughtful Wishes stamp set. This is the card base. Yes, I've stuck the paper straight on the card base. Yes, it's a top folding card. I found you can find vellum post-it notes at any good supply, office supply place, but you can also find them on those websites that we're not supposed to use. I'm not going to name any, but I've got some for you, Megan. Okay, so what you would do is you would stamp on your vellum post-it note, and then you would work out where you want your other things to go. So I've got another plate for my platform, and I am going to grab my other stamp, and I have no clue whether these colours will work together, but I'm pretty sure they're going to. I'm just going to move this bottom magnet so I can, and the top one, I'm going to stamp over it. No, I'm not. I'm just going to stamp down lower. Okay. Oh, a spot of dress shopping might make you feel better, Megan. I think that you could be absolutely right. I think that spot of dress shopping would make you feel fabulous. I'm doing a spot of dress shopping on Thursday. Well, actually a spot of winter clothes shopping. Okay, I'm just going to move this over a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab my brand new Stamping Right markers. Now, you don't want to use blends for this. You want to use your markers. The reason you don't want to use your blends is because blends are alcohol based and they will stay permanently on your stamp. Whereas, oh goodness, whereas these are water based. All right, so we're going to start with our lighter colour, which is our green, and we're basically just going to stamp colour all the stems. Now I love this because it allows me to get some colour without having to drag out a whole heap of ink pads or doing any masking. I'm just doing it with the marker. Just colouring all of the green. If there's green where you don't want it to be, just wipe it off. And the beautiful thing about this is that if you miss a bit, because you're using some sort of stamping positioning tool, whether it be a Misty or whether it be a Stamparatus or the new Sizzix one or whatever, if you miss a bit, you can go back and do it again. So just press that down. Right. Now, we'll just do stamping mist here. I don't have my spray bottle up here. I'm just going to put a bit of stamping mist on this gap tin. Let's wipe it off. And I just thought of another technique that I could use, but I'm not going to do that tonight. I might do that next week. No, not next week, the week after. So just a reminder, next week there is no Tuesday Night Lights. I know, where's the commitment? Okay, I am going to just colour in these flowers where I think the flowers might be with the Petunia Pop. I'm using this colour, well, basically because it's new, but also it's close enough to being a purple that, and I think that it needs a bit of green. I don't know if thistles or whatever they are called have green down the bottom, but mine are going to. green because I didn't put that on before. It doesn't matter that I've gone over the top of it. And if I want it a bit darker, like I want the stems a bit darker, I can do that while I'm at it. And we're going to cross our fingers as this works, that I haven't moved it at all. Okay. Now, because the leaves aren't an even colour, that's why I'm sort of adding a bit more darker ink. Yeah. All right, let's fingers crossed that this works nicely. Press it down. We need a bit more petunia pop. What I didn't do is I should have huffed on it. Should have gone and blown on the thing. So I'm just going to add a bit more petunia pop. Make it a bit darker. And a bit more of the green around the base of the flowers. Okay, so it's giving it a bit of texture and a bit of colour. I've got all of them. Just make sure. Now, it's not rocket science, it's just something a bit simple. Okay, so because I've gone over that a couple of times with the green, it's considerably darker than the one that's been stamped with the ink pad. So that is our flowers. Now, I think it needs some more flowers. I think it needs a different flower. So we're going to grab... No, we're going to just leave... just moved my stamp. I'm just putting it down the bottom now. Being careful not to twist it or anything, just putting it straight down. And I'm just going to just do another little thistle. Very lightly. So did everybody who celebrated Mother's Day have a nice Mother's Day? I bought myself a lovely gift from my dog. I got myself a new Pandora bracelet. And it was a starfish, and that was sort of to commemorate the holiday that Steve and I just had to for our wedding anniversary. And Steve had bought me a Pandora charm for my birthday, which was lovely as well. So I got two charms for my birthday. And of all things, we had a Dagwood dog from the Dagwood dog guy as our treat, because that reminded me of my grandmother and when we used to go to the Ecca, because my mum and dad are away. So yeah. Oh, Megan. How am I going to huff on that plate? Well, you just bend your head over and huff on it, Megan, like you would have stamped. Okay. So yeah, here we go. So we've done our colours. And we're going to grab our grab my sentiment. And I'm thinking that's about straight. What I need to do is line it up and do a test run. Line it up about there. Just do a little test run. Actually, have a close up that ink pad. Oh, we've got Dashhound pajamas. Oh, lovely. Yeah. Oh, Steve, my cousin sent me some beautiful flowers for my birthday, and as well, because that was Wednesday, and a cookie from Cookies by Sam, and that was pretty yummy. Well, it looks yummy. I haven't eaten it yet because it was too pretty. But she made some gorgeous Dashhound cookies this week. Well, that's a little bit crooked. So I'm just going to wipe that off. Just have to move it so my head's not in the frame. Yeah, she made some gorgeous Dashhound cookies, Megan. You would love them. They're gingerbread. They're just beautiful. Oh, I needed to keep that there. Hang on. Got a bit carried away. Oh, you had lunch at the Heart. And lovely shanties. Is that a flower, Jan? I should know. I got some. Oh, and I planted my chrysanthemum that I got for my birthday from the lovely Miss Rhoda. Yeah, so it was a lovely day. And on Saturday we went to the Splatter Room at Hamilton. It's by Rosé Soirée, I think it's called. And it was just so much fun. So we had a fantastic time. There was 9 of my favourite people. No, 7 of my favourite people and me. So there was 9 of us, and it was fantastic. And oh, you got flowers and a. Oh, hi, Rhoda. I was just talking about you and saying I planted my chrysanthemums on Sunday in a lovely big orange pot. And I look out my kitchen window and they look fabulous. All right, hi, Janine. All right. Yes, we had a fabulous time paint flowering, and I would do it again. Oh, I just loved it. Some people were more minimalistic than others, and yeah, mine is very, very pink, but it's still drying. It's taken forever to dry. My paint might have been a bit thick, but you know, it was lots of fun. There's some feedback we give them about, well, they need a drying room and they also need some better ponchos, but apart from that, it was a fabulous time, like, because you can BYO drinks and snacks. And so that is my card. I'm going to just put a little bit of bling on it. We need to stamp on the inside though, and I might have a little bit of ink left on this one here. I'm just going to huff on it. And hopefully this will work. I just want it to be pale. Very, very pale. I don't think I'm going to be able to get any more ink off that, but we'll give it a go. So very, very pale at the bottom. I know, that's just so it doesn't look Now, if you wanted, you could put a ribbon on it, but that is... Oh, we better finish the bling first. And no, Megan, her pampering has not continued since she's come home from the Chip Duff Resort. No. Delphi's, well, we put her to work. She was cutting ribbon just before I came. Well, supervising ribbon cutting anyway, just before I came here. Oh, yes, she's so deprived. She's gotten to sleep on the bed again, though. And I'm going to put the third one, maybe up here. So there you go. So you might recognise this paper was from the mini catalogue. It's carried over into the oh, Jen, spell check. Yes, we're having a conversation this afternoon with Shani about spelling. And when I first started work, my mum made me have a dictionary in my drawer at work. And she bought me one especially for work, and I looked it up all the time. So this is the very basic sketch. So let's have a look at the sketch, and let's see if I captured that sketch. So the sketches are on page 22 of the catalogue. So we were doing this one in the bottom at the middle. This one here. And so that is the sketch. All right. I think that we nailed that. I think that looks pretty close. Now, obviously, you can adjust the size of the card and you can adjust the width of the paper. So what if we use that sketch and added to it and flipped it? Okay. So we're not going to do anything too hard. Just what I didn't do is I didn't stamp my envelope, but I'll stamp both the envelopes at the end. How's that? So I've got, again, I don't think this is quite 3 inches wide. I've got a card base. Do I have a piece for the inside of my card? I thought I did. Anyway, I've got another piece of pattern paper, a contrasting piece of pattern paper, which is from the same paper pack. So let's do a bit of stamping for that one first before we get too caught up. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment first this time. I'm going to stamp it in the same colour. Okay, thanks for watching. I haven't seen you for ages. Thank you, Glenda. I'm glad you like the card. So I'm just putting that there so I know where I'm going to put my card. This morning I had a bit of a panic attack because I thought it was Wednesday and I'm thinking, oh no, I've got all this stuff to do today, and I didn't have it to do today at all. It was tomorrow. So I've done some of it today. I don't know that that's terribly straight. Pretty close. Okay. And actually that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm going to get rid of that piece. And I've got another piece of white because I messed that up completely because I was not concentrating. I was thinking I was doing the sketch again. So we're going to just cut another piece of white, and it's going to be 2 3/4 by 4 inches. I was just checking to see if anyone had picked up that we were going to flip our sketch. But no one picked it up. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to pop that down there so I know where it's going to go. Pop that there. See, no one was watching. No one picked up that I was doing it wrong. Okay. I'm just going to pop this on there. It's very close to the edge. If I deliberately tried to do that, I wouldn't be able to do it. Oh dear. Yeah, so over the next week you might not see as many posts from me, or you might see heaps of posts from me, because the final retreat preparations for Soiree by the Sea are in full swing. So we're up to cutting the final things. I'm going to pop this heather or thistle or whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. Does anyone know what this is called, this flower? Okay. I'll move this over so you can see what I'm doing. Now remember I said we're flipping the sketch. So just because a sketch is done a certain way doesn't mean you have to follow the rules. Now if I wanted to make this a bit lighter, what I could do is just use my ink pad and wipe the green ink off the flowers. Okay. So do we have an answer? It's a weed? Yeah, well, perhaps, but no. It's a Scottish flower of some sort. And we got some exciting news on the weekend that my father-in-law is coming over from New Zealand in June, so I have to make sure that when he's here that I don't have classes, because he'll only be with us for a weekend. So we're very, very excited that he's coming though. And yeah, we haven't seen him for about a year, because we haven't been back to New Zealand for a long, long time. So we have to go back soon. But sometimes it's easier for him to come here and escape the cold than it is for us to go over there. And the funniest thing happened when we were in Port Douglas. My girlfriend Alison and I were buying some shoes, and this lady asked me what part of New Zealand I was from. And I'm like, I'm not from New Zealand. But we had been hanging around a whole heap of Kiwis, so I'd sort of picked up their Kiwi accent. And yeah, apparently I sounded very, very Kiwi after 4 days with them all. But it's funny when we go to New Zealand, Steve gets mistaken for the Aussie, and I get mistaken for the Kiwi. All right, so we've got that flower. Okay, and we're going to we're not going to do any more flowers. We're going to do some splatty bits on it. Now, I'll just put together my stamp. So, grab my block, put it sticky side down on the block, take off the backing paper, I couldn't see where the gap was. It's a Scottish thistle. Oh, it was a monogram on your primary school blazer. Wow. When was that? Last year? Kinda. That's a little while ago. Alright, so I'm just going to turn this round till we find how it fits on. And now we've got our backing on our stamp. And I'm going to use my Shy Shamrock. We can get rid of this stamping platform now. We're going to put a few splatters. We're just going to stamp it off. So we ink it, stamp it off a little bit. So because I'm using the wrong size block, you'll see I've got a whole heap of haloing on there. So now some people like to put a little bit of tape or something underneath their cling stamps when they're putting them together, so that they know, so it's easier for them to take off the block the first time, because sometimes it's a little bit hard. So we've just stamped it off, and we're just going to pop a few splatters of that just randomly. Now they're very, very pale. They're just filling up the white space, because I don't want it to be stark white. I want it to be, I want to get as much ink off as I can. All right, you can barely see it. So I'm going to come in with another one, stamp it off, and I might just put that about there. Another one about there. And one up there. So there we go. So that's barely see it. I'm going to wipe that off. Got a bit of stamping mist. So this is a really old stamping mist. Look, it's the old green label. Just wipe that off. And I'm cleaning it because I'm going to grab my marker. Stamp it off a little bit. I'll put some of those on as well. I didn't bring that Petunia Pop ink powder up because I had decided that I wasn't going to use it. Okay, so it looks a bit messy up there. let's do a darker one down in the bottom right corner, just so we can bring our eye away from that mess up the top. So we've got 3 that we can really see. That one over there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Press it down nice and firm there. Alright, I just want it to not be so stark. That's the whole point of those splatters. Okay. If I did it again, I would move the sentiment down lower. What I could do is I could do some, let's do some poppies. While we're here, let's just use the whole stamp set, hey? Right, we need to put that together. And I know it's pretty boring watching someone else put the stamp together, but not everyone puts their stamps together, and so, and the instructions on the pack or on the stamp box are really hard. Like, they're not the easiest way to do it. So if I can show someone an easy way to do something and it saves them a bit of hassle, I will. All right. So we're going to stamp these ones in some Pebble Path, which is what we use for the sentiment. But we're just going to stamp them off so that they're going to be a bit lighter. So I'm going to stamp it once, stamp it off again, stamp it again there, okay, and then a third one over here. All right. Now we can add, because we've got our markers up here, we could add in another colour. So I've got this peach pie. Now I didn't think that I would like this, but I really like it. So we're just going to quickly colour those little little poppies in the peach pie. Now they don't have to be stamped perfectly or coloured perfectly. It's sort of going to be a bit rustic. And it's just really quick colouring. Yeah, you could have left them blank and not coloured them at all. That would be perfectly okay. I just wanted to add another little pop of colour. Just to... I'm not going to colour the leaf. If I start colouring the leaves, then I'm committed, aren't I? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to colour the leaves. I'm going to leave them. Just get rid of this rubbish off the desk. Alright, so we've done our stamping. Look, if you wanted to, you could do some little peach pie splatters as well. Let's do that. I don't have the ink pad, but I've got the marker. So just brush them over with the marker. I'm just going to stamp in peach pie over. Don't even have to stamp it off. We can stamp it over where our flowers are. I'm happy with that now. Just need a little peach pie background there, because that's a bit pale. There we go. Happy with that now. All right. Maybe that's pollen or something. I don't know. Okay. Now, let's go back to our sketch. Remember, our sketch had 3 equal pieces of cardstock. Oh, before we do that, we want a piece for the inside. So I'm just going to cut this at 3 3/4. It's just a piece of white, and 5 1/2. And we'll quickly stamp that while we have our stamps still out. So we're just going to go tap, tap, tap really gently, stamp it off, and then stamp just in one corner. Grab my envelope while I've got it here, stamp it in the bottom corner because we don't like naked envelopes. And then I'm not even going to re-ink the stamp, just going to stamp it on the back. Okay, so that's the envelope, not colouring the inside, just taking that off. Now what we want to do here is, this is 2 1/2. Goodness, I don't even have a calculator. Ah dear. So I reckon if I do, so I'm going to do what I did before and go 1 2 3 on the back and write that bottom down here, so I know when I cut it what order it's going to be in. Yeah, okay, that's all right. So I think that since it's not quite, it's, I can't do the maths. I'm just going to think that, I think it's 3/4 of an inch, because I must have picked up the wrong piece of paper. And I don't even have a calculator here. Oh dear. Anyway, that'll do. We'll just do, we'll work on that it's 3/4 of an inch. Or maybe 7/8 of an inch. That'll work. That'll be close enough. Doesn't, what I will do is I'm actually going to, because I don't know, I'm going to do the first one at 7/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to turn it round and do this one at 7/8 of an inch. Right. Because I'm not exactly sure. Well, they look pretty even to me. I think the middle one is a teeny bit wider. Anyway, it's all right. We've got them cut. They're pretty close. Get rid of the cutting board out of the way. All right. So we've got our base card. We've got a piece of pattern paper, which is just the reverse side. Just going to glue that on nice and quickly. All right, and I know that you're thinking, no, Chrissy, don't glue the foil side down. I know. It pains me to do it, but I want you to know that it's okay to use the reverse side of this specialty paper. You don't have to follow the rules and always have the foil side up. Now this has got writing in it, so make sure that the writing is the correct way up. Alright, and then we're going, this is number 2, so this is the middle one. So I'm just going to turn it 90 degrees while I do this. I've got this grid up the top. No, it's about 5 centimetres. So we're going to stick this number 2 on. You don't even have to stick right to the edges. You can just right in the middle. And I am flipping it this way, so the bottom will actually be at the top. Right? Where I've written the word bottom will actually be, yeah, right at the top. So that's there. Okay. Then number 3 is going to go over here. And number 1 is going to go over there. All right. Okay. Thank you, Glenda. I like putting the stamps together that way. It just makes it so much easier. Because when you look at these instructions in the middle, that doesn't really make any sense. That just makes it hard. Right, and you don't line them up properly, and yeah, it's just all too hard. The way I do it just seems to be easier. Well, it's easier for me. You might find Stampin' Up's instructions really clear, and yeah. So there we go. So we've got our 3 pieces on. Now we're going to put our, we've got to put this bit in the centre on the inside of the card. So we've used the initial sketch, but we've just flipped it 90 degrees. And we've also, oh, you have wonky labels on your stamps. Oh, thank you, Jan. I think it is much better too. Megan, do you put yours on the way Stampin' Up says, or do you do it the way I do it? I used to do it the way Stampin' Up says, and I just had lots of wonky labels. Okay, so now we'll grab our dimensionals. We're just going to pop lots of dimensionals on here. Yeah. So like I did it, Megan, is that right? Put the split sticker on the block and stamp it on. Okay. So we've got this one. So this is more of a grungy card. I think that it needs some butterflies as well. I'm going to have a couple of little butterflies this time. Little butterfly on the leaf down there. And then a little butterfly. Oh, I don't like that big. That one there. We're going to put a little butterfly here. And I'm going to get a big butterfly. So you see I'm using my rule of threes. So 3 embellishments. Or the rule of odd numbers. So I've got 3 embellishments, 3 of the same type of flower. A single flower and a single sentiment, and then I've got 3 pieces of pattern paper, so that whole odd numbers. All right, so that is our second card. There's some sort of record, 2 cards in under an hour. So let's find our first card again and just compare that with the sketch. Oops, we lost a little butterfly. It was deciding to choose its own adventure. Come on. Just wanted to go its own way. A bit like a Fleetwood Mac song, really. All right. So, this is the second card. And this is the first card. They basically use the same sketch. They've used the same pattern paper, the same size of cardstock on the front. We've just added a different coloured card base and flipped it. So it's a little bit different. Like if you wanted to add ribbon, you could add ribbon. I'll move it down a bit because I'm sitting in the wrong spot today. Right, so yeah, that is my sketch from page 22. So it's the middle one on the bottom row. And that's my version of it. Now, if you want to know about the specialty paper, that is called Nature's Sweetness, and you will find that on page 107 of the catalogue. They've used it there. It's carried over from the previous mini catalogue. I think that's just really pretty too. I like the way they've used that. So yeah, so I've shown you a couple of things. One, how to use sketch in 2 ways. 2, how to be brave and use the reverse side of the foil paper. And how to use the markers to colour your stamps, and also how to put your stamps together. So we've covered a lot in just an hour tonight. So hope everyone has a really fabulous week. As I said, no Facebook Live next Tuesday night. We will do some lives from our retreat, which starts next Thursday at Cabarita Beach. But for the next week, it'll be packing and getting everything sorted. And I'm so excited. And we are going to have a fabulous time. Thank you, Megan. We will have a great time. And I'm glad that you like the cards. And I'm glad. And I want to see my challenge for you over the next couple of weeks is to have a look at those sketches on page 22. Now, this is anyone who's watching, whether you're watching us live or whether you're watching us on the replay, I want you to have a look at the sketches on page 22 of the annual catalogue. And you can use the same sketch as me, or you can use a different sketch. But I want you to have a try at these sketches and see how you go. And see if it makes your card making a little bit easier. It's like following a recipe. You just cut it and do the steps and it all comes together. Or a plan, if you're not a recipe, not a cook, you're following instructions on how to build something. That's really what a sketch is. All right, until next time, happy creating, have a great week, and if you need anything, just send me a message or an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Happy creating, bye for now.